Hello, children. Today we will learn about some letters, the art of writing letters. As we all know, there are two types of letters, formal letters and informal letters. Okay, today we will discuss about the formal letters. The main points you should remember while writing letters. First is avoid starting with T. Okay, you should not start the letter with to, like we used to write earlier, to the editor. No, only the editor. Second, keep sentences short and to the point. There should not be superfluous sentences. Avoid contractions like I have, will not, etc. Now next, end with a short sentence that anticipates the response to the addressee. Your language should be polite and impersonal, okay, because it is a formal letter, it is not an informal letter, so we have to write it in a formal way. Use of passive voice. State the purpose clearly, okay, where you have to write subject, you should state your problem, whatever it is, clearly and to the point. Be polite even if you are writing a complaint. Your language should not be rude. Your language should always be polite. Now the format of informal. Now the format of formal letter. The main points, there are 9 main points. The first point is sender's address, to whom we are writing a letter. Then the date, then recipient's address, then salutation, then subject. Okay, on which subject you are writing a letter, that should be stated clearly. Body of the letter, here you will discuss your problem or your subject. Closing of the letter and enclosures, if any. If you are writing any complaint letter, then you have to provide them bills and all. Then sender's name with signature. This is the format of the letter. Now remember, there are many types of formal letters, okay, like if you want some information for jobs, inquiries, registration, complaints, or you want to place orders, okay. Now there are many types of formal letters, like we will today discuss the letter to an editor, how to write a letter to an editor. Now first is the sender's address. Remember, the sender's address should be written clearly, and you have to use a comma, okay. If this address is long, doesn't matter, you have to write it clearly, okay. Now the date. This is the way of writing date. This is the British way of writing date. There is also an American way, but this method is preferred. Now the addressee's address, to whom we are writing letter. Now we are discussing the letter to the editor, so we should write like this: the editor, the Herald, New Delhi, okay. Now the subject. Our subject is the ruthless cutting of trees. This is the problem on which we want to dedicate our letter. So the subject, it should be clearly mentioned. Now the salutation: sir or ma'am. We don't know whether the editor is sir or ma'am, so we have to write it using oblique. Now the starting of the letter should be in a very polite manner. Through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, you can mention the paper here. You can mention, I would like to convey my concern over the ruthless cutting of trees. Okay. Now in the body of the letter, you have to discuss this problem and how we can eradicate it. Okay. Now, and the sentences should be to the point. No superfluous sentences should be there. And the closing, yours sincerely, your signature and name of sender. This is the format of formal letter. Some important points you should always do. Now, some important things you should always remember while writing a letter is you should not write the date like this. Don't write like this. It is the wrong way of writing date. Date should be like this: August 18, comma 2022, or in the British way of writing. This is American way of writing date, and this is British way of writing, and this is preferred. 12th August 2022. Okay, this is the correct form of writing date. In the next part of my video, we will discuss about more formal letters. Stay in tune.